news. We're gonna start playing some Borderlands 2 on the channel again. Some shit has happened with my job, and I've decided that, for a while now, with the amount of bullshit going on with it, I think I've briefly touched on some of what's going on with it. The bullshit where my boss, talks down to us like we're peasants or children. It's like, dude, that shit's just gotta stop. But time and time again, there's bullshit with the safety department where the guy, we'll call him Chris, he lies and he manipulates, or get this, he'll put words in your mouth. And so, what do you call it? So he's saying that for 2 nights in a row. Now, I usually put in 1 earbud. It's no big deal, right? So, usually that's been going on for a couple of months now. But since they took away our tours, which was this other guy's decision, head of safety, that was his decision to take those away. I don't know why, but now it's like really hard to stay up because we're not moving, we're just constantly sitting. It's boring. They took away our inspections and checks. There's like literally almost nothing to do other than sit. And the only time you're really doing something is when you're checking bags or looking at cameras. And so it gets really boring really quickly, So, and that's the job, and that's what I signed up for. But at the same time, it's like, if something happens, I can't even investigate because my job says we're going to stay at the table. So, as it turns out, this guy, we'll call him Chris, has decided to basically tell my boss that he talked to me about earbuds being in. He never told me about anything. He came by to check on the temp agency to make sure that they're doing their job.
Calm down. Another down.
We told him about the whole, they're complaining that they have to return their badges at the end of their shift, and it's like, there's nothing we can do about it because that's how our job. And we told him about a few other incidents that we've had during the day with people trying to get through the security check without being checked. So, just typical roaming safety.
And stay down.
And so, they told him about what time the incident happened. So he goes in the office, pulls the camera footage. He's like, okay, we'll do something about it. And then left. He never told me anything, right? And that was the 2 nights ago. And really this was like 5 nights ago. Because, not yesterday, but the day before they told me about the earbud complaint. Now Chris could have told my boss, oh yeah, so-and-so has been wearing his earbuds, can you tell him to stop? He might have told her 2 nights in a row, but he didn't tell me. And then, he comes in by himself, he's only by himself, he doesn't have anyone ever with him. And so, either way, so, it's clear, and this is not the first time I've had issues with Chris. Chris is trying to get me fired, twice now before this? Or no, he tried to get me in trouble, and it just didn't make sense over something I didn't do. And there was no proof that I did anything, and you can see me on the camera that I was not in the camera room sleeping, so... it is what it is, because I sit out at the desk, I'm barely in that camera room. Mainly because Chris will accuse people of doing shit in that camera room they never did. They'll say that, oh yeah, so-and-so was sleeping. It's like, no. No one was sleeping. I don't know, the guy is annoying. Like, man, dude, I swear to God, bro. Like, I hope there's a way to get him fired, bro, because he's problematic. He watches us more than he watches the workers, and the workers be doing the most bullshit, bro. Because if you actually get on the cameras and watch, bro, you see all kinds of crazy shit that went inside. And almost nothing gets done about that, but oh boy, a guard does something. And I just think, personally, man, this is kind of a conspiracy theory, but I think that safety, the Department of Safety, just wants to get us out of there because they cannot afford to, the company cannot afford to pay us overtime, and because they keep on firing us, we have to keep doing overtime. I don't know, make this make sense. If you don't have enough money to pay somebody, and you come up with little bullshit reasons to fire them, to short staff them, right? And then you know, if you can't afford to pay them, then the few workers like myself will keep doing overtime, right? I had like 114 hours in my paycheck, the last paycheck, you know, and I probably get about 20 hours of overtime on average a week, you know. So, you know, I'll work a double a week, and then I'll work a 12 a week, and then, so that puts me at like 12 hours of overtime, so it's like 22 hours, really. No, unfortunately, we don't have, you know, working 10s, but if they ask me to come in early, I'll do what I call a 10-hour shift, which is not a real thing. You know, it's not something that they encourage. It's something that I do. So it's like, if they ask me to come in early, I'll come in 2 hours. And if I feel like the week's going really slow for me, and I feel like, you know, shit's just going how it's supposed to, then I'll work to guarantee. You know, that's just a me thing. That's how I like making money. But now the thing with that whole ordeal is that, like, right, I don't think Personal Safety likes that. He always sees me, like, getting all this overtime and whatnot. So I think his issue is that, yeah, if one person keeps on working all this overtime, if we just get rid of them, then we won't have to pay them as much money. So I think might be the motive behind it. But apart from that, though, I don't know. I've never liked him. He's never really liked me, and it's never been stated. Like, I've never had any issues with him or qualms with him. I've never really stated anything to him directly, and he's never said anything to me directly. It's sort of a mutual hatred, I guess, that's unspoken. Like I see him do bullshit, and I just don't like it. Like, I'm just like, you know, I just keep my mouth shut and don't say anything, but at the same time, like, you know, when you see a higher up doing some bullshit, and you're afraid to speak out on it because, you know, you might get targeted. I feel like that's the case, but I'm being targeted anyway, and I just don't appreciate the lies. So I asked my boss about it. I said, hey, well, alright, well, if Chris is saying that he talked to me, which he didn't, then how about I just go ask him about it, then, and see what's going on there. Because he can't tell me to my face that, you know, he told me, because that would be just a lie. And then my boss hits me with a, oh, well, there is to be no confrontation with this guy. So, okay, so you're telling me that I can't even ask this guy about it just to get the story straight? So it's just a one-sided story, and I have to accept it for what it is. That's the biggest sack of shit that I've ever heard in my life. That's like saying, okay, you know, so-and-so's been saying this about you. He told you that you're supposed to be doing that, and you haven't been doing that, so when we're complaining about that, you're fired. It's like, okay, well, that's a huge thing, right? Being fired is a huge thing, and not having any say in the matter is a huge thing. And, right, I might look at this and be like, alright, well, this is like the third bullshit that's happened to me at a work. The last job I had almost no bullshit, apart from my supervisor, which was my mom's fiance, and he doesn't like me for other reasons. He just doesn't like me, period. And so, you know, he always gave me a hard time. And sometimes he would take it to other levels that would be inappropriate for both work and just, you know, he's a dick, and I don't like him. And it really working with him showed me what kind of a person he really was. But I don't have a problem with the actual work at the job. But anyway, for the most part, though, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm a perfect angel. Like, yeah, like, okay. you know, that's not true. I know. I do a couple of things wrong. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I brought my PlayStation to work one day. Alright, it was undercover. No one knew.
Get your health and shields right here. Come on back anytime.
You know, and I have it posted on my YouTube channel, and no one there knows I have a YouTube channel. So it's like, okay, that shit is what it is, man. The evidence is out there, and I'm willing to admit to it, but I won't admit to it directly, though. Like, I won't tell them, hey, I brought my PlayStation. I'm not the only person I've done that on the weekends. So on the weekends, nobody's done that. The crazy part, really, it comes down to the whole, okay, yeah, well, on the weekends, you're in you know, when you're by yourself, like I was last night, and there's no one in the building, you're in an empty fucking building, and you can hear the building settle, and you can hear, like, the wind blowing on this ventilation system. They had this massive exhaust fan system, and it's all around the building. These weird metal things in a square formation, they open up to suck wind from outside inside, and then they have the large things on the ceiling to suck wind out of the building. And so basically creates a vacuum effect. It's called an exhaust fan, I think, because I have one and it works pretty fucking awesome. But the thing is, in a large building that's doing that, and then you hear the wind blowing on and rattling these massive metal vents that fold to open and close to let wind travel through it. That can be very unsettling. It is such a crazy sound. It sounds like someone's taking like a baton to a large galvanized trash can and an echo chamber. Boom, 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 boom. Because each vent itself is so massive, it probably weighs maybe close to maybe 10 pounds, 15 pounds. Just like a metal plate. And so when you hear this boom, 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 and it's crazy. And then you can hear it rattling all throughout the place because it's so high up where nothing is, and it's a pretty wide factory. There's a lot of space for sound to travel. Like it could just be so. I mean, it might not sound that crazy in actuality, but the echo chamber amplifies the sound of the the boom. It just sounds insane. It's hard to describe as well, unless you've actually been there. But when you're by yourself and it's a windy night, expect that you can suddenly hear booms and it will make you want to jump. But I got jumpy the first couple of times that I heard that, but after a while I got used to it. But when you're by yourself, I just cannot like shake the feeling of being watched. Like, it was so creepy. What's even crazier is they've actually resorted to keeping us being one guard per shift now, which is just absolutely insane. Because we're expected to do two to three people worth of work. Okay, as one person. I cannot check bags, sign out badges, check IDs. I can't do all that by myself. Unless I have the people's cooperation, which means that they wait for me to come there to check their bag. A couple of kind souls really do wait. And they sympathize with me. And there's a couple of people like, oh, there's no guard here? Well, we're just going to walk away from the desk. And I get the whole mentality of that, you know. People don't like their bags checked for privacy reasons. I get that, but if you don't have anything to hide, then there's no point in not showing what you got. But I get it out of privacy. But it's just like, man, dude.
Damn it!
Unless you have a reason to want to hide anything, then there's no reason at all to not have your bag checked. And it literally says all bags will be checked. And so, I don't know, it's my job. If I miss a couple of them, it's no big deal. But then again, it's like when you're by yourself, you're going to miss quite a few. And then, you know, it's like running a fast food place is a one-man army. You're taking orders, and then you're having to make sure that the orders are coming through. Imagine being the cook and the cashier. That's basically what it's like. It's less intense than that, obviously, but it's like that's the energy it gives off because, and you just can never catch a fucking break when you're in that position. But it's not that bad though. Honestly, the work itself is easy, apart from working alone. But the part of the company doing its BS. But yeah, so anyway, long story short, I went through this whole bullshit just to tell you guys. I started looking for other jobs. I found a good job, it looks like, for Mercedes-Benz. Hopefully I get the job, because it pays around like 18 bucks an hour, which is not bad at all. I can live off that wage. But the thing is, like the funny part of it all, is I found another job basically doing exactly what I do, but for the Department of Defense, and it pays like $23.70 an hour. That's a job I really, really want to get, because $23 an hour, that's like literally more than a $5 raise. Like that's more than a $400 difference on my paycheck. Like that's like a whole another $1,000 bucks a month. Like that's damn near close to $3,000 bucks a month, and that's not counting overtime, because time and a half on something as large as that's over 30 bucks an hour. And that's just looking at it objectively, right? So $23.70 an hour is like, so times 40, and you're gonna make some good money a week.
Yo, killer, over here.
We need to punch through that gate somehow. Cassius is our only chance of saving Mordecai and retaking Sanctuary.
Tritanium's chunky stuff, Lil. Gonna take one hell of a weapon, and what we got here ain't gonna cut it.
Yo, Lilith, what about the Helios moonshot?
Yeah, that could work. Bandit, you lived on Helios for a while. Think we can get the moonshot cannon working?
Oh yeah, totally. But just so you know, to get into Helios, you're gonna have to go through the burrows. Have fun, don't die!
I don't love using Jack's weapons, but if it gets the job done, I can live with it.
Oh man! This is exciting! Surviving the burrows is a bandit rite of passage! You know what? If you make it through, you can be my vice war chief.
A vice war chief. Alright guys, well, I gotta go eat my food, but long story short, there are better jobs that pay way more than what my place pays with actual benefits. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do what I think will make me more money and will secure me a better future. Because, right, like I've been investing in stocks and doing my side hustles, you know. And I might be making some more like investments to make more money, or to make making money easier and less time consuming. Cause like once you realize time is money, and you realize saving a lot of time and making a little bit more money and earning more money back, like dude, it's like such a perfect thing, man. But you know, long story short though, you know, I've been saving and investing in stocks and bonds and you know, other short-term assets and whatnot. I want to start investing in more liquid assets, but then again, it's risky and I don't have a lot of money to be just throwing around, because I am going to be moving out very soon. But, you know, when I do move out, it's going to be fucking awesome. You know, definitely have to look at security and whatnot. But, man. Yeah, I probably won't be able, if I work for the Department of Defense, I probably wouldn't be able to talk about most of what goes on there. Mostly just because I'd probably sign a disclosure agreement. You know, of not basically disclosing anything outside of work. And I'm the type of motherfucker to actually, you know, keep that promise, keep that commitment. There's a lot of people that will do that and then they'll get with their buddies and they'll talk about it or something like that. But I'm the type of person that actually upholds that shit.
You actually brought an infected soldier back to camp. Man, I keep thinking you mind the idiot shaft dry. Then you go and strike a big old vein of dumbass.
But anyway, guys, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go eat my food.